Hello, my dear children. Namaste and welcome to yet another career counseling session or a career options session. And this is Ambika, your biology master teacher here at Vedantu. I hope all of you are staying home, staying safe, and staying absolutely in good health physically, mentally, emotionally, and in all possible ways. So, today, let us learn about or let us get to know a little more about the teaching career. Okay, so me being a biology teacher will be telling you a little more about how to become a biology teacher. If at all biology happens to be your favorite subject, definitely you should get into it. But then there may be many of you who would like to get into the teaching profession, but biology may not be your favorite subject. Even those of you who think that is an option, definitely stay with me until the very end. Okay, so as we all know, teaching is undoubtedly one of the noblest professions on the planet because there are very few professions like these in which you get the opportunity to touch lives personally. It's not just about going into a classroom and just reading out or talking about all that you know about the subject. It's way beyond books, especially in today's world, especially the phase of education in India is changing. Of course, all of us are aware of that. Every day, every single minute, things are changing because everyone wants to, you know, just go closer to making India a much more developed nation. That's pretty much the dream for most of us Indians who are very sincere Indian citizens, right? So let us just get to know about what are the opportunities available in this field because it's not like the olden days wherein teaching used to be I wouldn't even say olden days, okay, even until very recently or even today for that matter, when you say you want to become a teacher, many times it's quite looked down upon. But then, how would all the professions on this planet, how would all the other professions in this world exist if we did not have sincere teachers? Right? Okay, so let us get going. But then, before we go on to the first slide, I want all of you to just close your eyes for a moment and think of your very first day at school. It could be your nursery, your preschool, Montessori, kindergarten, whatever it is that you remember very clearly attending in formal school education. Okay. Do you remember how it was, how your first day was? Do you remember your very first teacher? I mean, of course, for us all, our parents, our grandparents, all happen to be our first teachers, but I'm talking about your first formal teacher, which is why I'm telling you to recall your very first day at formal school. Okay, just close your eyes and think about him or her, your first formal teacher, for a moment. What is it that you remember about them? I would really love to hear from you about that. But then, just hold on for a bit. Just stay with me for the next 10-15 minutes until I finish talking about this career. But at the end of the session, please do add your thoughts in the comment section so that I can also have a look at those. Okay, so let's get going. To formally define who a teacher is, perhaps, as I said, a bookish definition or an online definition, this actually is one of the most common online definitions that you would find. Who is a teacher? A teacher is a person who helps students acquire knowledge, competence, or virtue. Okay, in my opinion, these days, knowledge you get from a lot of sources, a lot of different sources, but a teacher truly has to be a person who can positively impact you, who can positively influence your life, who can positively, or rather, who can be a source of inspiration to you, who can be a role model to you. Okay, so definitely the definitions can be a lot, can be you can literally write an essay about who a teacher has to be. Okay, and of course, I'm not saying this because I'm also in this profession. I am saying this with respect to all the wonderful teachers who have taught me through my school and college also, and everyone else I know who is a very successful teacher today. Okay, so that's only because of their passion for youth, passion to bring about change in the new generation, among the new generation, and a lot more. not just about subjects. Okay, so this is about who a teacher is. Now I have all those biology icons there. If you can see, I have put the pictures of DNA, the stomach, all the conical flask with a couple of leaves, and then there's a fish. All of that I've just put it so that we don't forget that I'm a biology teacher, and today I will be talking more in focus with how to become a bio teacher. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead. Now, what stream do I choose in class 11 and 12 to become a biology teacher? Of course, beyond doubt, among arts, science, and commerce, which are the three most common streams that we have in India, science with biology as one of your major subjects, which means PCB or it can be PCMB. So talking about myself, I think I've told you this before in my previous session. Also, I took up PCMB in my 11th and 12th. I was a CBSE student and I did not want to drop math for the simplest reason that math and bio were equally my favorite subjects. Okay, so that's about it. But then I definitely had an inclination towards teaching. I definitely had a huge interest in the teaching profession even back then, although I realized it with a deeper sense a little later. Okay, so let's continue. Now, what do you pursue after class 12? Okay, class 12 is done. Bio was one of your major subjects. Now what? Okay, so the first thing you need to be clear about by the time you complete class 12 is about what level you want to teach so that you can pursue the next steps accordingly. Because I want to become a teacher is actually a very, very vague statement because teaching is a very vast profession these days. You can be a Montessori teacher, you can be a preschool teacher, a nursery teacher, you can be a kindergarten teacher, you can be a primary school teacher, secondary school, higher secondary, college, university, anything. What is it that you are interested in? And of course, now let's come back to the fact that I'm talking about becoming a biology teacher, which means most likely you want to become, your range would start, your range would be between being a secondary school teacher to a university professor or a university lecturer, somewhere between that, because that's where you learn about actual hardcore science, right? Okay. And now, what to pursue after class 12? Again, as I said, once you have this clarity in mind about what level you want to cater to, you can pick up the course of your choice. Okay, so I have put down here if you want to become a bio teacher, especially the first thing that you would have to enroll in would be a BSc course, a Bachelor of Sciences course. It could be in any life sciences. Well, I took up my bachelor's in zoology and I had biology, I had botany and chemistry as my subsidiary subjects. So this varies from college to college and university to university across India. Whatever be your favorite subject in biology, your favorite branch in biology, in my personal opinion, bachelor's degree is probably a little too early to super specialize, which is why BSc in zoology or BSc in botany would be very, very safe options so that by the time you complete your BSc, by the time you reach final year of your BSc, you have much more clarity about what you want to specialize next. Okay, your interests may change, but then by the time you're 19, 20, or even 21 years old, I'm assuming you're pretty much in a much better position to judge for yourself what it is that you want next. Okay, so that's about BSc in Life Sciences, which is typically a 3-year course in India. The eligibility is 10 plus 2 level PCB. Okay, and then for those of you who passionately want to become a school teacher, definitely you have the option of taking up a B.Ed, a Bachelor of Education course in the respective subject, which is a 2-year course again. Eligibility could be BSc, BA, BSc, anything. But then now, because we are speaking with respect to becoming a bio teacher, I have written BSc as eligibility. Okay, at least a bachelor's degree is what you would require to take up B.Ed. So once you have a BSc and a B.Ed, that means you have become eligible to become a teacher until class 8, and in some schools it's up to class 10. But if you really want to teach higher secondary level, which means 11th and 12th, usually most good schools in India would prefer to have a candidate with master's degree also. So there we go. What next? Now, in my case, I did not take up B.Ed. After my BSc, I directly went on to MSc, Master of Science, in your respective life science subject. So again, I was a BSc in zoology, and in MSc, I picked up marine biology, which is what I spoke to you about in my last session, right? Remember, 2 weeks back. So that again, it could be anything. You could also pick up MSc in zoology, MSc in botany, MSc in biochemistry, anything. Life sciences, as I always say, is a very vast subject. There are many, many specializations and super specializations that you can find, a lot of them, hundreds of them, literally. Whatever it is that interests you, please do go and pick it up. MSc is going to be for 2 years duration. Eligibility is a bachelor's degree in any life sciences. Usually it's in the respective life science degree. Okay. And furthermore, if you have an interest in going ahead and becoming a college lecturer, you can also go ahead and pursue an MPhil or a Master of Philosophy, which is again for 2 years. And furthermore, if you want a doctorate degree or a PhD degree, you can go ahead and specialize in that as well. And that typically ranges between 3 to 5 years in India. It could take a little less. Usually it's between this, but it can take a little more than 5 years also at times. Okay, depends on various factors. Okay, so there we go. As I said, BSc, MSc is definitely required if you want to teach at the higher secondary level. B.Ed, if you want to teach at the school level, M.Ed is also available if you want to take up that. And then furthermore, college or university, MPhil and PhD certainly add a lot of value. Okay, and now, yes, before we proceed, let me remind you this, children, do not worry at all about the lockdown and anything else, all the other issues that are happening around the world, because that's just there. That will definitely subside within a few weeks, if not months. Definitely we will get back to normal. Let's not get unnecessarily disturbed by all that, because as long as Vedantu is there, your learning will never get interrupted, because you're just sitting at your home, and as you can see, all of us teachers are also sitting in our respective homes and just ensuring that your learning doesn't stop. And of course, as you can see here, Vedantu also has free access to live classes and a lot of other content. So please do go ahead and check out the website for more details. Okay, this is especially so that learning across Indian students across all states and all districts in India doesn't get interrupted. Okay. All right. And now, what are the tests that I can appear in? We've spoken about the degrees that you can take. Now, what are the tests that you can appear in? One, of course, entrance examination for your bachelor's or master's admission at the university of interest. Usually for a BSc course in India, your 12th standard marks is all that matters. But some universities may be specific about carrying out their own entrance tests. Okay, so that's the university's choice. Apart from that, MSc also. MSc, of course, most universities do have an entrance test, so do keep an eye on that. Okay, now, once you have completed your master's, CSIR UGC NET. CSIR is Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, and UGC is University Grants Commission. So CSIR and UGC combinedly, they together carry out one of the most prestigious examinations across India, which is the NET exam, National Eligibility Test. What is it for? It's basically aimed at two things. One is, if you want to become a lecturer at a university or a college, you must definitely take up this exam. Secondly, if you want to enroll for a PhD in one of the most prestigious labs in the country, then again, you are eligible to, you must definitely take up this exam. Okay, so two things, lectureship and PhD admission would be what you aim at through CSIR UGC NET. Life sciences. Life sciences would be the paper that bio students opt for. Okay, so yes, you can, as long as you're interested in that, that's all that matters, because you just need to go ahead and have a look at the website, because I can keep talking on and on and on about that if I started to. Okay, I just wanted to give you an awareness about how to channelize your path. Okay. And the next option available to you if you want to get into a college or a university would be to appear for the SLET or the SET exam, which is the state level eligibility test to become a lecturer. Many states across India, most states across India do carry out this so that eligible candidates can get into a pre-university college or a degree or master's degree college in order to become lecturers professionally and eventually become professors also. Okay, so there we go. These are majorly the tests you can appear in. And again, children, do keep in mind, those of you who are very serious about becoming university level professors, definitely you would require a PhD degree, right? So CSIR UGC NET is certainly one very, very good way of ensuring that you get into a prestigious lab in India to enroll into a PhD degree. But apart from that, you also have other options like getting into IISc or one of the IITs or the central universities across India, or even you can even get into other universities or labs through the GATE examination, all of which I think I spoke to you about in my previous session. So once you have completed your PhD from a prestigious university, then definitely you can apply at your institute of choice, okay, wherever you want to teach. All right, so there we go. And now, what are the career options? Very, very important, right? You can either become a school teacher for different levels, as I said, ranging from Montessori to university level. But yes, considering that science or biology will be your hardcore subject, between secondary school and university would be the options available to you. Okay, so that's what brings us to the second point. Also, I've written college or university wherein you can become a lecturer or a professor, and then you can even become a private tutor. That is especially for those of you who want to be your own boss, like my dad was. So you can be a private tutor. You can either be by yourself, or you can have your own team of teachers and handle a set of students. Just carry out different courses of your choice, whatever it is that you want to conduct, all of that. And fourth, of course, these days for competitive exams also, highly experienced and skilled faculty are greatly in demand. So that is also definitely one of the highly lucrative options that you have in today's world in the teaching career. Okay, so that's about the career options. Now coming to the different workplaces. Okay, I think you pretty much have an understanding, but it's a little different from what a lot of people have understood about the conventional teaching profession. Of course, schools, colleges, universities, private setup, as I said, edtech companies. Why would I not talk about that? Yes, I work myself and a lot of and all the other teachers that you know here at Vedantu. All of us are part of an amazing edtech company called Vedantu. And yes, edtech is definitely in boom these days. So that is certainly another wonderful opportunity for those of you who would love to make a difference to millions of students at a time. Okay. And then, as I said, coaching centers. It could be, like contact classes. That is again another option because, as I said, highly lucrative these days. NEET to coach students for NEET exams, to coach them for Olympiads. All of these, we need highly skilled and experienced faculty. So these are all the different workplaces that you can think of. Now, coming to the salary package, which most of you would be interested in. Okay, government roles, of course, as per government norms. And so, children, do keep in mind that these days, candidates who have qualified CSIR NET lectureship exams, or of course, additionally, if you also do have a PhD, fall into a into a decently high pay category as per CSIR norms. Okay, so that is definitely a very good option. Of course, as far as school teaching is concerned, private schools, even today, fortunately or unfortunately, pay much better than government schools do. Okay, but private schools also quite a number of times I do feel that they underpay teachers and do not pick the right candidate. But of course, every school and every institution has their own set of rules. So I'm no one to comment on that, just telling you my opinion. Okay, and then of course, in the private sector, depending on your role, experience, and workplace, Why do I say role, experience, and workplace? Because workplace can mean any of those that I mentioned in the previous slide, right? Which means you can work in edtech companies, you can be an online tutor, you can be a private tutor, you can be a faculty in one of the prestigious coaching centers across the country for competitive exams. Depending on where you are, you can earn anywhere between 2.5 lakhs per annum. Of course, I'm talking about in terms of Indian rupees to even crores. Okay, lakhs and crores is definitely, but then yes, not for everyone. As long as you have the passion to make a change in this field, as long as you have the right set of skills, as long as you're willing to develop your skills, willing to sharpen your skills, certainly nobody can stop you. You will always be in demand. Okay, so there we go. This is why I was saying that teaching is definitely not like what it used to be in the olden times. Now, coming to future prospects, as I said, they are always high in demand across the world. Whichever place in India you go to, whichever country in the world you go to, if you are a skilled and experienced teacher, skilled is what, according to me, matters most, because experience comes just naturally, as in when you join a place and you just gain your experience, it just naturally comes with the flow. But skills, definitely something that you personally decide to sharpen for yourself, right? So as long as you have the right skills across the world, anywhere, you don't have to worry about a recession or the loss of uh, job market. And yes, as I said, science is a subject that can be made interesting by a teacher as long as he or she is passionate about the subject. So passion in the subject and the right communication skills and a lot of other qualities put in together as ingredients. If you think you have them, you are certainly fit for this. Okay, so that's about the future prospects. And remember what I told you. Without teaching as a profession, no other profession in the world would exist. Now, ask yourself these questions. Do I really want to become a teacher? Okay. Of course, there are a lot of questions you can ask yourself, but these are five major questions I thought might help you understand something about yourself. Do I have the passion to influence the next generation positively? Very, very important. Secondly, do I have good communication skills and the ability to make people understand what I'm saying? And I have put that point especially because I know a lot of people who are first rankers, who are gold medalists, who know a lot about their subject in depth, but they lack communication skills. You can become a good teacher only if you can convey what you have in your mind in the right manner to your audience. Are they understanding it in the right sense? Are you able to convey in the right manner what you exactly want to say? That is very, very, very important for a teacher. And yes, do I have the ability to make any topic interesting to my audience? This is what I mean by passion for subject. And fourth, do I have a constant thirst to keep learning? What do I mean by that? Not just learning about my subject. Do I have a constant thirst to keep learning about new techniques of teaching, new techniques of learning? All of that is equally important. Especially today, I have the right to tell you that because we know lockdown everywhere and we don't want education to stop. We don't want learning to stop. Every parent and every child wants to keep learning and wants to keep updating his or her knowledge about academic subjects also. So it is because online teaching is there as a tool that these days, even schools and universities across the world are opting for newer tools and discovering newer methods of getting in touch with their students, even if not physically, at least through technology. So it's not a very common that all traditional teachers would be able to accept these new methods. And I think in the present day world, if you want to become a teacher, you must certainly, most certainly be willing to pick up any new teaching skill, any new teaching tools, any new learning tools, so that you and your students get benefited. Okay. And finally, am I patient? What do I mean by that? Because teaching, as I said, is way beyond books. It's a profession where you get to touch lives personally. I personally believe in that very strongly because um, I also have had a lot of wonderful experience interacting with children, even when I was a classroom teacher, because the love and respect you get from them, and you end up becoming much more than a teacher. They as long as you open up to them, as long as they feel you are an approachable person, they give you the respect and love that you deserve, which I think is certainly way better a reward as compared to any high salary package that you can think of. Okay, that's one of the best things about this profession. So, do I have the patience to interact with my children like that? Do I have the patience to teach even a 50 times, 100 times the same thing? Because every child is not the same. Every child has his or her own abilities. Do I have the state of mind, and do I have the right attitude to understand that every child's background is different and every child is definitely special? That is what I mean by summarizing in those three words: am I patient? Okay, so that's it. Do I really want to become a teacher? And yes, I just put it there to add a little bit of fun element. Teaching in the present day world can be a lot fun. Of course, you do get to see, even at Vedantu, we do come up with special videos, right? The 21-day challenge, and the even things like cake cutting for all our milestones that we achieve, and all of those things, you probably have seen a lot of them if you have been regular students. And yes, because I have put these pictures here so that I could just bring to you all the different kinds of fun that we get to face by uh, posing in front of the camera, just to make interesting content for you guys, just to be able to connect with you guys. So there we go. We have a lot of fun with the entire team that we have, the wonderful team that we have around us here. Okay, so do get inspired if your answer to all those 5 questions that I said have been positive. Do get inspired by the right people. Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, definitely one of the greatest personalities, of course, one of the former presidents of India, um, whose birthday is celebrated as Teachers' Day, September 5th. Do read up about great personalities like Dr. Radhakrishnan, and do read up a lot about other teachers. Just observe different teachers around you. What is it that inspires you? What is it that you think has touched your life that you may wish to impact in your students? Okay, so these sayings are just there to inspire you. It takes a big heart to help shape little minds. Okay, and yes, one more special saying that I wanted to put in front of you: we people who are in the teaching profession are not just teachers, we are the managers of the world's greatest resource, which are children. Okay, so I thought that was a beautiful saying. And one more thing, children, before I forget, for those of you who perhaps have questions in mind about opportunities abroad, those of you who want to become a teacher, who want to make a career in the teaching field, but do think that you may want to look up for options abroad at a later point of time in life, please do keep in mind that something like a teacher training course or a diploma in teaching or a B.Ed or an M.Ed certainly will add a lot of value. Okay, because a formal teacher training course, a formal degree in education, not just a bachelor's or master's in science, would be enough. A formal degree in education certainly adds a lot of value along with relevant experience in the field. Okay, so do keep that in mind also. And children, I hope you found this interesting. Please do remember to hit the like button. Oh, by the way, before you leave, before you sign off, let me remind you once again: think of the first teacher in your school. And that's one thing. One more homework that I want to give you is, yes, as I said, continuing from the first point, do write a comment in the comment section below about your very first formal teacher, either it's preschool or nursery or your kindergarten, whoever it is that you remember first. What is it that you remember about him or her? Secondly, I also want you to think about the most inspiring teacher in your life. If you want, you can add your thoughts about that also in the comment section below. I would love to read up that. Okay. And for those of you who would like to reach out to me on my email ID, here we go. I have put my ID for your reference: ambika.gopalakrishnan@vedantu.com. Please do remember to share this with all your friends, and most importantly, Please do remember to subscribe to our channel Vedantu 9 and 10 because in the days to come, we will certainly continue coming up with a lot of amazing content. So stay tuned. And until we meet again, this is Ambika signing off. Bye bye and take care.